Hey everyone, happy Wednesday. We've gotten through another week, and we are officially in August, which, yeah. um, yeah, so we're in August. I thought I'd be doing very different things in August this year, but I guess in terms of how things have turned out, this is not a bad place to be in August, I guess. Um, but hello, thank you so much for joining again this week. Hello to Gilliam in the chat, to Pranav in the chat, to DT, and hi, Alice. Um, uh, Ooh, thank you so much again to everyone that subscribed. I actually spent yesterday and uh, so actually yesterday and Monday was really fun because my studio mates Alice and Amy did a live stream together, and it was like super like beautiful and calming, and they did one about like childhood nostalgia. That was very, very fun to see because it felt like I was back in the studio again, the studio office that we share. Just like even the beautiful chill like pastel vibes. Anyways, during that stream, so I've been kind of like joining in on Alice's streams every week and like trying to do a little bit more doodling or drawing just to like get more comfortable with digital painting. And so yesterday I did a really quick sketch of an emote. I am learning that that's what it's called. So like last Friday, I just like it was like peak like old lady feeling for me of like just how confused and flustered I was. But yeah, so I drew this emote, and let me see, and this is what it looks like. And I submitted it for like the for kind of as like the subscriber emotes, but I didn't know that I needed approval, which in retrospect, I guess that makes sense that like the emotes that I submit and that people will be able to use, I guess, across the Twitch platform would need some sort of approval to make sure that it's like appropriate. Uh, and uh, it seems like it's still pending approval. I have no idea how long this process takes. So hopefully it doesn't take more than a few days, and then hopefully it will be there. If I knew that it was going to take longer, I would have started the process earlier. But I drew it. I'm really proud of it. And then just because I was like thinking to myself, like, what kind of emotes should we have in the chat? Because it's not like I don't know. I don't think we really have any like jokes or like inside jokes or anything other than I guess me uh like I keep accidentally showing my keys or I guess my poor laptop, which by the way, I restarted before the stream, so hopefully it will be better today. But yeah, so I wasn't sure what to do with the emotes, and then I realized like maybe I'll just draw myself with the emojis that I use frequently anyway. So this was the attempt. I think some of the other emojis that I use often are like the crying face, like the river of tears one. I also use the one that's like the like scream face a lot. So I was thinking of drawing those. And then I found out this is I guess this is like a sign that I should have gone and like researched into Twitch more, which or like taken their, I don't know, creator uh boot camp or whatever that they have, but I didn't. So I know nothing. But apparently from if I want to be able to put in more emotes, apparently I have to like get more subscribers, which uh you know, Twitch as a game streaming platform, like way to gamify that. So good on you, Twitch. But yeah, so maybe I'll be able to like make a few more and put them as like different tiered emotes. Not sure, but as of right now, I just have this one. It's pending approval. Hopefully, it comes through very soon. I'm very excited. I am unreasonably proud of this one. And speaking of unreasonably proud, I've been spending the last few days working on my workshop for front end masters, and I made this to explain how SVG paths are created. Um, I am unreasonably proud of this little like image I drew to explain like how an SVG path is defined. Um, so yeah, and the notebooks for the workshop is starting to turn out really nicely. And in general, I'm quite excited and also very stressed about whether I'll be able to finish everything as I want it in time. So we shall see. I'll probably be working through the weekend because I decided to slack off in July. Uh, yeah. But see, DT says solo waiting for that emote. I'm guessing, um, and Alice says, "Oh, thanks, Shirley. How did you make the emoji? Oh, I drew it. I just drew it in Procreate. So, um, I've been wanting to like show this off forever. My like mirroring on my iPad. Ooh, that's some more workshop materials. But I just drew it in Procreate, and then it's just like some layers, and then that's it. And then I just need to make sure that my background was transparent, and then uploaded it to Twitch. So it was pretty straightforward. And Serenify says, "Hi Shirley, do you hope that Twitch will make up a non-trivial part of your income in the future, or is it mostly for fun?" I think at least the way that Twitch has their like affiliates set up is like a 50-50 cut. So I don't think which I when I found out I was really sad because I was like, I feel like you're paying like you're like, you know, using your hard-earned money, and then like it's only, I don't know, like the cut just makes me really sad because then like it half of it is going to like an entity that, you know, an entity. But so in that sense, and partner I think is like 70-30, which is a little bit better. But in that sense, I don't think it's going to be a very significant part of my income. So mostly I'm just doing it for fun. It really is just, I think, a way for me to have fun doing my personal projects. But I think the fact that that you are supporting me and subscribing means a lot, and that's really big motivation. Um, and yeah, so I'm not trying to like make it my full-time job. My full-time job is still creating data visualizations, and maybe it's creating data visualizations for clients, but I think what would be really cool, the thing that I really want to go towards is being is something like Nikki Case. I don't actually wait then. They have a Patreon. So Nikki has kind of established this portfolio of really amazing projects, and my impression is that they do this as their like combined with their Patreon. I'm not sure if it's solely Patreon or something else, but like because of their Patreon, they are able to make that high quality projects over and over again, kind of driven by what they're interested in. And that, I think, is ultimately kind of where I want to go towards. So yeah, that's what I'm working towards. So, and let's see. DT says, restarted laptop. Yes. Maybe that's an inside joke. It's just like an emote of like a restarting laptop. Gilliam says, resub count, give it a minute. Alice says, ooh, fancy mirroring. Ooh, thank you. Thank you. Gilliam says, I like the confidence of people showing their camera roll on stream. Mine is full of garden mishaps, stuff to repair, and random website screenshots. Did I show my photo stream on camera? Did I accidentally do that? Oops. Oh yes, thank you. Serenify gave NK.me. Nikki's a friend. We've talked a bunch about collaborating, but haven't gotten around to it. It's Nikki's full-time income, solely Patreon. That's absolutely amazing. Yeah, they Nikki just like makes amazing work. So I think it's definitely I want to go towards something along those lines of being able to support more of the personal projects, and then maybe taking on client projects if it really aligns with what I'm interested in. That's like, I feel like the ultimate goal right now of where I want to go with my freelance. Unhot says, I must learn more. I want to sell out. I'm not sure what that quite means, but and yeah, Serenify says, have you seen Flowing Data? I like their approach a lot. One-off fun visualizations and educational content. Yeah, so Flowing Data is another really amazing. Whoa, there was what? The things that. Oh, it's his. This is their death project. I was like, why is people searching about Nathan Yao dying? Okay, sorry. Yeah, so Flowing Data also has a really awesome, so it's like a kind of like a freemium model of a lot of tutorials that you can subscribe for per month, and the other half kind of being freely available projects or resources, a lot of like roundups of data visualizations that have come out. So also a really great model. Yeah, so I've been kind of playing around with these ideas of like how I want to go forward, because I think I've always had this thought of trying to, wow, this is going to be, sorry, we already did this on Friday. I think I really just should start like a, like, every other week just chatting sort of place for these kinds of discussions, but I'll try to keep it short. So I think what happened this year with the pandemic and with the economy was very much a wake-up call of I've really enjoyed the clients I've worked with before, and I was also really excited about the clients that I was going to work with, but like the economy is cyclical, so this was bound to happen, though not, I wasn't expecting it in this form. I think it's really kind of losing all of the plans I had for this year has made me kind of try to figure out like what can I, like how do I pick up the building blocks that have kind of just like fallen apart, and then how do I stack it back together in a way that hopefully is more sustainable going forward. And so that's what I'm kind of like really excited to try and figure out. Yeah, I think, and I think going back to like, do I see Twitch as main income source? It's not, but I think it's just really fun to be able to have these kind of conversations. And also just kind of have more like technical conversations that I kind of miss working by myself. It's the kind of environment of being at a full-time job that I kind of miss. And Serenify says, I love Patreon, but man, the grind. So maybe I'm also being very like rose-colored glasses with this. Like I'm sure there's like so much hard work to Patreon. But Anha says, if you can make enough money to invest in life off of sustainably, you can do whatever you want. Yes, very true. DT says, "Oh, I love it." DT says, for the like subscriber emote, he says, "Have a burning laptop emote." I will very much consider that. Hi, Amy. Thanks for joining the chat. Anha says you should film yourself offline coding and then just talk through it on Streamlabs so you can give commentary. Yeah, actually, I think that's also very interesting. I was also thinking about like what I might like the projects that I can't quite share, how I might go about those, like the projects that I'm working on because they're client projects or because like some topics, you know, you want to be able to like just launch, so like how to go about those. And Serenify, it says 3 blue, 1 brown. It's only Patreon plus some t-shirts and apparel. Yeah, 3 blue. I love 3 blue, 1 brown's content. Like he has such good content. And although I think the interesting thing about those is like I recently was watching a lot of MPJ, which is like Fun Functions YouTube channel. And he has some really great explainers about like JavaScript concepts. And he recently had a post about kind of either temporarily or permanently stopping his channel so that he can go back and work at a company again, because there's kind of like this tension between being like someone that teaches and like after a while you teach so much that you're not building, and then like because you're not building, then like it's hard to teach. And so I think at the core, at the end of the day, I very much enjoy the building. So I'm trying to figure out a path forward where I can keep both of those. Yeah. Hi Ian, thanks for joining the chat today too. Anha says 3 blue, 1 bay. Helium says, on hot, what do you mean about Patreon, the viewer or the content creator side? On hot says, I mean, in general, sustainable withdrawal rate is set to be 3 to 4%. So if you need 10K to survive per year, then if you have 300K, you can make 10K passively for the rest of your life. I need to process that later. I'm not quite 100% sure what that means. Serenify says client projects plus your own content / Patreon / projects seems like a good balance. Yeah, I think it's just really kind of like writing it down into like a plan and figuring out how to execute to get it to that point. Pranav asks, did you find anything interesting in your filmography visualizations for the cast? Yes, thank you, Pranav, for getting us back on the topic because I am apparently very bad at that. So let's yeah, let's do something. Let's so I kind of showed this a little bit last Friday. So this is the data analysis, and where we left off last Wednesday was that we had kind of pulled our data into an observable notebook, and we started kind of I think we made some really ugly line charts, ugly because of me, not because of Vega Lite that we're using. And after that, I kind of refactored it a little bit, and this is where we ended up on Friday. That and we spent Friday pretty much just chatting, but then I kind of showed it a little bit at the end. And so let's run through the refactored code first. So this is basically the top 6 billing. Let me make this bigger. And so the dark pink is Crazy Rich Asians, and any of the lighter pink means that a foreign language was spoken. And I thought that that might be a good way to denote whether it was a Hollywood movie or not. Obviously, like it's not a catch-all, and we might have to figure out another way of denoting whether a movie is a Hollywood movie. And then the same thing as last Wednesday, where the orange is revenue and the blue is budget. And so this is how I kind of went about it. So on Wednesday, where we left off was we were trying to, let's see, no, not this notebook. So this is Vishnu's notebook for Observable for Vega Light. And we were talking about this third notebook where we can kind of compose different charts on top of each other. And so I was trying to do, I was trying to just put all of the charts for the top 6 actors and actresses together. And so the way I ended up doing that is originally I thought I could use this repetition, but then I realized that it's actually like 6 distinct charts, and we would use this thing called concatenation. And for concatenation, you use either V concat for vertical concatenation or H concat for horizontal. And so what I ended up doing was this piece of code where I get our actors data into what we need to make this chart. And so I think what I'm doing is for each actor, each of the top 6 actors, I'm going and getting each of their movies, and then I'm basically saying I want the ID, the title, the name of the actor, the billing order, and I also put in a little bit of like, is it a foreign language or is it Crazy Rich Asians? And then finally, I have one set of objects for if it's the revenue amount, and another for if it's the budget, and then and then I make that into a flattened array. And so basically this filmographies is, I believe, an array of arrays. So if I now so this is an array, and each of them within is one actor's set of movies. And then I have this function that I wrote where it basically is, we're going back to our recursion. So what it is I go and create the Vega Light chart. And so the Vega Light chart has a title that says whose filmography it is, and basically has one bar if it's Crazy Rich Asians, another bar. So this is actually a hacky way. I'm not quite sure if this is the way that I'm supposed to be doing it, but I'm basically drawing bars if it's Crazy Rich Asians or has a foreign spoken language. And essentially I just want like a background colored sort of thing. And let's see. Then I'm drawing the line chart, and then finally I'm putting the text of the billing order. I'm layering that on top. So these little numbers are the bill order for that particular actor. And then I'm saying, so this is the Vega Light chart, and I'm saying for I want to. So I'm saying if this is the last movie, if there's a next one, what I want to do is go recurse the next one, and whatever, the results of this is, I want to vertically concatenate with this actor's chart. And if it's the very last sorry. If there's if there's another actor, then keep recursing and creating charts. And if not, then return the actor's chart. And then basically we're recursively vertically concatenating the charts. And then this is where we call this function. So yeah, so this is how I refactored and created this. And so for today, what I want to do is one of the things that we identified is that there isn't actually that many, it seems like a lot of the revenue information is missing. So I was trying to think of maybe maybe we should be looking at the rating instead. And so I have this idea of having the rating still be the line chart because I think it's really nice. I don't know why I was thinking this, and I'm still not quite sure if this is the right way to think about it, but I kept on thinking of the rating as like, you know, those like stock charts where the ticker price is at top and then like the trading frequency is a bar chart at the bottom. And so that's what I was thinking here of like, you know, the rating is this line chart because I think it's really interesting to be able to see like how they might have gone up and down. And again, I still haven't quite like reasoned through if that's the right way to think about it, but that's okay because this is just analysis. Like it's what's important is that like, you know, we get something out of it. Um, and then yeah, and then the number of votes down here. So I think that um usually what I would do is every time I like put, you know, the data into a chart, I'll like take notes about what I'm learned. But I think as of right now, I'm not quite sure yet what I can get out of this one. So that's why I'm gonna give this rating one a try, and then I think I'm going to kind of take a step back and figure out what I've learned from these charts. Um, so let me catch up on the chat. Um, so for the filmography one, I haven't quite yeah, I don't feel like I've quite figured anything out yet, and it might just be because of the way that I'm doing this. So I think I'm gonna keep iterating on, yeah, I think I'm gonna keep iterating on these charts for a bit. Alice asks if how do I feel like being indie versus in-house has influenced my portfolio of work, artistically, personal exploration, etc. That's a really great question um, because I think I remember Alice, you and Amy were talking yesterday about you know, doing client projects. But then I think what I took away is, you know, doing client projects. They're coming to you for like a very specific style that you have, or very specific skill that you have, and so only ever purely doing client projects means that you won't quite be able to um, like expand beyond where you currently are, and that like self-motivated projects really help with that because that's where you get to explore. And I think that's very much true for how I think about things also, that clients are coming to me for my past portfolio of work and my style and the skills I've developed there, um, and it's up to me to do a certain amount of personal projects per year where I'm trying to push my own technical skills or my own style. And I think most of the luckiest is like when a client is like, do whatever you want. And so I basically just try and like push and explore like what I already like, where kind of push the boundaries of where I am and try to explore new tech. But I find that I think the projects where I do that are also kind of like the projects that attract potential clients the most. Um, and let's see. Yeah, so Anha is talking about early retirement, the financial independence, retire early. I agree with you that I think I always need to work. I think I always want to be creating something, but it really is the financial independence that I'm kind of trying to work towards. The financial independence of trying to do, of wanting, of being able to work on and create what I want to work on. I don't know. So yeah, I sometimes I wonder if I'm like just being too spoiled. Because I feel like there's like so many people that, like they grind and do the work, and I'm over here being like, I just want to do whatever I want to do. So sometimes I do think about that. Um, and Gilliam asks, are there line numbers on observable? That is a great question. I don't know. Maybe that's something that we can turn on, but as of right now, I don't see it, and I don't know how to turn it on. Pranav says, I don't think so. Aha says, there may be other things to consider when they were brought onto, for example, when they were brought onto a project versus when the final movie was released. Ah, very interesting. Brought onto a project versus when the final movie was released. Gilliam asks, Shirley, do you have a baseline, perhaps a number below which you say there is not enough data to draw any conclusion here? Do you mean like for this particular chart, or do you mean like in general? Because I don't think I have like a strict threshold, but like for this one, I think I am feeling that I might not be able to do, just kind of seeing how many of them don't have the information I'm looking at. That's this, I'm just saying, like, I don't think this will be as helpful. I think it's because I was seeing Constance filmography and how many of them doesn't have budget information. So yeah. Yeah, in general, I don't have like a strict threshold or number. It's just like I think it would be a rabbit hole not worth going down. Is like, it's like a feeling. Do things by feeling. um so what we're gonna do now is do this. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to separate this out into a few different cells, because I realized that I'm probably going to want to have this filmography's data accessible through a few different cells. And because I want to now be using the rating as well, let me go check out how did let's see, for movies, I said vote average and vote count. Okay, so that's the things I want. And vote count. I'm just gonna start stuffing more of them in here. So I'm just gonna, yeah, let's just stuff these. And again, like when I'm like doing analysis, I don't care as much about how my code looks. And I think I keep saying this because as like I think I just have like leftovers from being like a software engineer, where like, like I feel like it was like the cult of beautiful code or something. So like I just feel like I need to defend myself, being like, I'm not trying to. I know it's not beautiful code. I'm not trying to write beautiful code right now, is what I feel like, what I'm like, what's happening right now with what I'm saying. Okay, anyways, so what I'm gonna do is also, I want to be able to reuse this piece of code that's just like concatenating all of the actors into one cell. So then I'm going to actually take this out also. And I'm going to, I think, wrap it in a function. And I'm probably going to call it revenue. Yeah, I think I'll call it revenue budget charts, which I think is what I might have called it before, down in the cell. Or I might have called another function that already. But let's see. I'll rename things after. So I think I just want to do, yeah, I want to just return this. I think that should have everything we need in this function. And then in here, what we're going to do is, let's see, I'm going to call this concatenate chart. Ooh, concatenate charts. And we'll call this concatenate charts 0 render. And then I'm going to say const chart is equal to, actually, I want this to be also a separate function. And so let me just say, let's say that we also pass in the chart function we want to use, and we pass in the filmography, and then here, so that means that we pass in the chart function, and the one that we want to use is the revenue budget chart, and then perfect. Okay. So I'm going to take this out too. And I'm going to take this out into its own function. And I'll reorder this all later. And then hopefully when I've made it acceptable looking of a notebook, then I'll also be able to share it with you. And let's see. And I think that should be perfect. So now I have it all separated. And then what I can do is after this one, I can go and make a chart for this. So let's call this a rating count chart. These names. And then let's say I get past a filmography. And then what I want to do for this one is return, so for each of the charts, what I want to make is, let's see, there's a, I'm going to, let's not even pretend that I have what I did here, that I'm going to remember exactly how to do this. So I'm just going to copy and paste over what I did previously and then work off of that. Okay, so what I did was I passed in first to Vega Light the filmography data, and then I said I want the width. Oh, so this is a nice thing that Observable does for us, is it just passes us the width of, I believe, this entire, so what you see, yeah, this entire part that we're rendering, it actually has a global variable called width that tells us how wide the rendered area of the cell, is that what we can call it, is. And so here I'm just going to say width, and then I think I did minus, actually I don't think we even need to do minus 200 this time around. I did minus 200 to like account for the this little legend over here, but actually I don't think we need that legend this time around. So let's just render to the full width, and the height, let's keep it the same, 120, and then the title, we'll keep it the same. We'll keep it just actually, you know what, let's call it vote average versus count. Let's just call it that, so that we have a better idea of what they're supposed to be. And then what I was doing here was previous one. What I was doing was saying that for all of these different layers of marks, we're going to keep this. We're going to have the same encoding for the x-axis, and that is going to be by the dates. So I'm just going to copy and paste that over. And for this particular one, so actually it's probably, yeah, let's bring it over here. So for this particular one down here, I also was thinking like, what if I like concatenate all of them? And I think that's just too much. So I'm just gonna try doing this for now. So the layers are going to be, let's see, we're going to have one layer for the line charts. So that's mark line. And let me make the same, we'll do the same stroke width of 2. We'll have the same opacity. And interpolate is, instead of drawing the lines as this kind of like, drawing it from one point to another point in a very like straight fashion, monotone or like different interpolations will give us like a kind of like smoother curve as like the line is going between the points. So that's what that means. Let's see. So then we're going to encode the y-axis for this line chart with a quantitative field, and that quantitative field is going to be the vote average. Is that what it was called? The vote average, yes. We're going to go by the vote average. And, ooh, so much going on. And Anhat says, for the missing box office income values, you just need to create a machine learning model that accurately predicts the box office income based on the data you do have. Yeah, that is beyond the scope of what I can do. Although I was like thinking about this of like, it might be really fun if, there's like things that I want to do in my projects that's like beyond my current skill set of like inviting people on to kind of like teach me, kind of like what Learn with Jason. So like what Jason does of like he invites people on to teach him certain skills. And I was thinking like, wouldn't it be fun if like, for one project, for whatever reason, we wanted to, do like machine learning or I had like this one really over-engineered thing I want to do where we like do kind of a data art of all the cast members, and then it's going to be like, it's like the background is like flowers that are their films, and then like in the foreground is like a cutout of their like picture, and then it's like colored a certain way, and it's like very like, yeah. And then I was like, oh, wouldn't it be fun? And just like I daydream a lot. And be like, I was like, wouldn't it be fun if I can ask someone to come in and we'll build like, we'll do maybe one of those like P5JS has ML5, and we'll do like, we'll use ML5 to like write something that can, given any image, any like image of the actor or actress, we'll just like, do a cutout of just their face or something like that. Yeah. And then we'll superimpose that on top of the like flowers. That's the data art. Yeah. Just so that we can, like programmatically do it for any like actor or actress that anybody wants to like, type into the notebook. Anyways, that was the wouldn't it be fun? Oh, Amy says, I don't think it's spoiled at all to want personal fulfillment and the ability to pursue the projects you're interested in. I think about that a lot because of how hard my immigrant parents work, but I remember they worked so that I could have a more fulfilling life. That is such a good point. I think that's a lot of like where my guilt comes from, of like thinking about, where my parents have come from and the fact that they had to work really hard in, jobs that they didn't find any, or I mean, I shouldn't say they didn't find any fulfillment in. I think they do enjoy it to a certain point, but like it's much more about putting food on the table and then like taking care of us. Think about that a lot. But I also have to think about the fact that, like Amy said, at no point were they like, you must do the exact same thing and suffer like we did and sacrifice like we did. And I think it might be like this kind of tension between what I see in kind of the Asian countries that we used to live in, and the ideal there of like, you just put in the work and you grind and you do what it takes. And you know, if it's almost kind of like if there's no suffering, then like you haven't like paid your dues, I guess. And then sometimes I see that and I'm like, yeah, I just feel like maybe I'm just being too spoiled. But I think that's a really, really great point um, of it really is that that our my parents worked really hard so that I can afford this luxury of choice when it comes to my career of what I want to pursue and do. Um, and on hot and hi Anna, hello, welcome in, and hi, uh, thank you for coming into the chat. Hot says, absolutely. I think there's really two sides of the issue. Do you just try and grind through and make as much money as you can to then do what you actually want to do? Or can you just align your work with what you want in a financially sustainable way? I wouldn't hate on someone for picking one over the other unless they're crossing some ethical border in how they make their money. Yeah, I completely agree with that. Um, yeah, Gilliam says maybe try and find a balance. Shirley skewed at first, but that's the point of it all. Yeah, and Amy says, I think so too. Either approach is valid. Gilliam says, scope creep and auto refresh the data from X sources. Yes, I do scope. Yeah, I'm really bad at scope creep. Scope creep. Sorry. Hot says, am into this face extraction project. Yes. Okay. In that case, I'll keep that in mind. And we'll see if it's a doable thing. I feel like as long as the image has enough contrast, then we should be able to like take out their outline. Yeah. Okay. So let's see. We have the lines, and then what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to copy and paste this really simple thing. And so here we're saying concatenate charts, and then this one's showing the revenue budget chart, and then let's try out the rating count chart, and then see what we're drawing. Perfect. Whoa, whoa! This is already so interesting. Interesting. So I think also in here is like sometimes I don't think they're movies, which is interesting. I'm not sure because I definitely saw for Aquafina there was one that's like Between the Ferns or something, which oh, it's a movie. It's Between the Ferns, the movie. Got it. Okay, that makes so much more sense. And certainly it seems like there's some that are in the future that doesn't have ratings yet, and that makes a lot of sense. So I think we should definitely make a note to take out the ones that haven't the movies that haven't come out yet. So actually, let me go do that right now in our filmographies. So we have dot map and then dot filter. And so actually, we can do if there is no date, or I'm going to do this in a if the date, actually, or if the date is greater than today, right? That should work, right? Then let's return that if release date is after today, then we should return. Does that make sense? That makes sense, right? That sounds like that works. Let's go back and make sure. Let's see. Yep, I think that worked. Perfect. And actually, I do need to make the width. Let's see. I need to make the width a little bit smaller because I think the width for Vega Light is purely the width of this chart, so then it doesn't take into account like how much space this like little axis takes. So I think I'm just gonna minus 100 so that it all fits perfect. So fascinating. Not sure yet if this is gonna do anything for us, but at least we render something, right? We're going to, so actually, this one, this is also a concatenate. Yeah, this is also going to be a concatenate. So actually, let me put in at least the billing order as text on here. And I feel like there's some other way that I want to be expressing the billing order um, in a more, like I want to bring the bill order in some way that I think will make the analysis much easier. But I haven't thought of it yet, so I'm going to just hang on to that thought. And actually, you know what? I'm just gonna copy and paste this directly so that you don't have to be like sitting through this. And then I of course need to change that a little bit because the Y is the vote average and I don't need to scale it by square root and perfect. So yeah, so let's see. I feel like there's like a correlation thing we should be doing between the rating and the between the vote average um and their billing order. I think that might actually be very interesting. And this is kind of like the very kind of slightly circuitous path I end up taking where um I have to go through and iterate through like these kind of like different visuals for me to be like, oh, that might be interesting. So I'm gonna write that down. Is kind of a scatter plot. There was another note that I had, a mental note I had, and now I can't remember. I was saying I needed to do something. No, I was saying that I wanted to take out any movies in the future, and we went and did that already. So, I think let's say scatter plot of, um, and we said vote average versus let's see, vote average versus we said bill order. Because I think it would be really important to like, yeah, I think it'd be really important to kind of bring in bill order more. Because I think that's where crux of the crux of our story might be. And I think also I keep coming back to the spoken languages too. And I wish that each of these had like a percent of the film that had this other spoken, like percent of film with each of these different spoken languages. And I think that would be such an interesting thing to look at too. I'm not sure. Okay, so we have these notes, and we'll do these I think next time. But for today, let's just try and finish up this bottom number of votes. And let's see. Um, RT Shot says there's an awesome article about that comparison we do about our parents' and grandparents' generations' wills and wishes. It's a Wait But Why article about why generation Y yuppies are unhappy. And Anhat says, what went so bad there? I'm not quite sure anymore what Anhat is referring to. And Gilliam asks, Shirley, why keep the ones that are released today? Wait, did I keep the ones that are released today? You're right, I don't think we necessarily need to. I think this should also work. I think that should also work, yeah. And Ansahat says, I suspect reviews from critics are out in advance of release, no? Oh, that's a very, very interesting point too. Does your library have a correlation matrix method you can call? Um, yeah, so the Vega Lite, so you can do this quite quickly because it's composing just these circles as marks and then the encoding the X and Y axis. So I think we can definitely do that. But for the sake of time today, we're going to, so we're going to call this uh, our line chart. And then we also want to just draw this. And actually, what we want to do is for this particular line chart, because it's going to go above the bar chart, we don't want it to render the titles. And I know I saw this somewhere, to not render the titles. Ah, yes, right here. Or not render the x-axis. So then what Visnu did was say x-axis null. Cool. So I think that's what I can do. So I can do, ooh, sorry. Fascinating. Okay, so what he did was he actually took the encoding, because this is going to be a concatenation of two separate charts. He took the common encoding out into a separate variable, and then I think what he did was then pass that in, right? Yeah. So actually, I think what we can do, is still we can pass in the x as an encoding here for the line chart, because both the text and the line shares it. And then here for mark line, we say that we don't want this x-axis, and I think that's gonna take that away. Uh-oh. Cannot use in operator to search for mark in undefined. Okay, I was too, nope. So that is not how that's gonna work. Okay, so let's kind of trace back and see what I did wrong. So that, whoa, yo, this was working before. Okay, let's see. Let's see where this went wrong. So this doesn't work? No, I swear this worked. Oh, haha, because I need to return it. Sorry. Okay, so actually, I think that's gonna work. Okay, so let's take this x, basically this x encoding out into a variable, and then this should still work. Perfect. And then I'm gonna say that for the line chart, I don't want the x-axis to be drawn. Perfect. Whoa, look at Michelle Yeoh's films. Yeah, definitely. I'm gonna like go back and think about how we can do that kind of scatter plot, but then also potentially keep the information we have about like time, which is making me think of this is a very controversial one, but there's a scatter plot. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like a scatter plot where there's a line that's drawn between each of the dots, and it's either very good, or annoys a lot of people. Yeah, let's see. And then now I think the bar chart is going to give us a lot of really good context. So let's pass in the same data, and we're going to use the same width. We don't need a title since it's going to go underneath, and we're going to pass in that same. Oh, actually, this one, because we're not going to layer anything else on top of it, we can just pass in that same x. And in fact, I think we're using, no, we're not using the same y. That's the whole point. VL dot, and then actually, that means that we can use dot mark bar. Is it bar? Yes, mark bar. And we're going to do VL, and the Y encoding is also going to be a quantitative field, but this one is going to be vote count. And then here we're going to concatenate. Let me actually just make sure that that's going to render correctly. So just look at the bar chart. Perfect. Some of these are so bad because we're like, ooh, what if we don't specify a width at all? Like, what if we're just like, do what you want, Vegalite? I'm just getting distracted by a tangent. So if we take out the width, that was such a tangent. Okay, sorry. Putting the width back in now. It really isn't that important of a thing because, uh, anyways, because we don't actually care about if this looks pretty or not. And we're going to vertically concatenate the line chart and the bar chart. And awesome. So I'm gonna actually make this a little bit shorter. Wow. Maybe. Huh. There's like so few votes for some of these. Guardians of the Galaxy. Yeah, sometimes like I wonder what would you think about like tossing out the ones where they're just like not even. It's like for Michelle Yeoh, she was like 48th billing in Guardians of the Galaxy. I don't know if that should we be tossing that out? I don't know, but it's important to note that like she was in it. So let's see. Well, Chumley was in Fantastic Beasts. How was she in Fantastic Beasts? Billing 17. Okay, so I'm definitely going to be using a different Y scale for the vote count because some of these just have so few votes that it's going to be, we can't even see them. So we're going to use let's see how do we do the logarithmic scale? Let's see. How do we do a logarithmic scale for you know what, for now, I'm just going to do the square root. I swear I should be able to do a logarithmic scale with Vegalite. So, we'll just do log? No. What is the syntax for a logarithmic scale? For now, I'll do square root. Okay. So, yes. This is like literally there's no votes. I think this is better. And I think what this has really taught me is that I want to see this as a scatter plot. I think it really is also quite important to take into account that like like the number of votes is very important for like doesn't matter if like it gives context, for example, why this particular one is at 0 because there's no votes. And then so do we toss that out? I don't know. These are very interesting questions I'm not sure about the answers to. 7. Oh, it would be fun to kind of like put in a median, like a horizontal line for what the median is. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to go back and like brainstorm a little bit. One World, Together at Home. Oh, that was a movie? Okay. The Gentleman. Actually, I also should say that these should all be out of 10. So for the line chart, I want it to be out of 10. So vote average, let us, actually this I can bring out to here since they both share that. And do I say dot scale and then do I say minimum and maximum? So let's see, dot bin, dot scale, range. Ooh, I think I say range. Goes from 0 to 10. No, that's not the way to do it. Okay, let's actually go to the Vegalite documentation. And DT says, I think the vote on TMDB are just user ratings, so that makes a lot of sense. And might also not be the best source for accurate scores. Fair enough. Think of TMDB more of a Wikipedia for movies, so users submit the movies and info. That's why some information might be missing. I wonder if this means that we should have gone with IMDb. I don't know. But IMDb does seem like it has a lot more information. I'm not sure. Gilliam says, flashback to see when you sometimes had to rewrite the whole file by hand because of an invisible character. Anna says, I always forget the returns to in my cold code full. Ian, thank you. Ian says, connect to scatterplot. Yes, so this is what I was talking about. Let's see, connect to scatterplot. Yes, I feel like it's kind of controversial. These connected scatter plots, because I feel like sometimes it's really nice and it tells like a very compelling story. Sometimes very confusing. Like I feel like this I need to dig into for a while to be able to be like, oh, so like connected scatter plots. I always have to be like, okay, so this is it. Like I need to hold so much information in my head to be like, okay, this is what it's saying. So Vega Light documentation. Helium says, so concat is like placing them in the same container, one next to the other. Yes, it's very much what that means. So the concat is, yeah, placing charts in the same container. And then the other options have been like layers. I liked layers also. So like it's layering marks on top of each other. So for example, this is the marks are the bar and the text, and you layer them on top of each other, and it still has the same. It uses at least one of the same encodings. So because this one, for example, is the same X and Y encoding, and then there's like facets, which breaks out, I think, certain encodings. Yeah. So very interesting. And oh, Gilliam says, I'm not sure I understand the labels on the line charts. I'm guessing, do you mean these labels, these text labels? So these are their bill order. So these are for that particular movie. What was the, yeah, what order were they billed at? That was a really bad explanation. And says, Gilliam, that still haunts me. I had to upload a CSV to Google Sheets and download it again because some file I was trying to read had some weird characters in it I couldn't find or handle. Yeah, so Gilliam says, connected scatter plot goes back on the x-axis. Yeah, so sometimes, because it is that it's a scatter plot, but then you're like connecting them by some third dimension. So this one is like, you know, it's x-axis and y-axis is something, and then you're connecting them based on the year. So that's why it gets like really confusing sometimes, because like it just is so confusing when it goes backwards like that. Gilliam says, wasn't it made fun of on XKCD? Probably. So, okay, one last little thing let's do together. Scales, I'm pretty sure is the range, scale ranges. I thought that's how I would, isn't that, that's what we did. So this is scale ranges. Yeah, that's what we did. We said, we did this. So because I wanted this to be from 0, oh, wait, no, what? So because I wanted it to go from the y-axis to go from 0 to 10, so I said that for the vote average, I wanted the range, the output, to go from 0 to 10. Oh, wait, no, range is not what I want. What do I want? I feel like I'm having like an existential crisis. What do I want? Scale domain, scale bins. No, okay. Range is not what I want. Okay. Types, is it? Oh, maybe it's axes that I want. X. Ah, yes, I think maybe it's the axis scale that I want. So, yes, wait. Okay. Because what I'm trying to describe isn't the scale. So, because the scale is mapping from one set of values to another set of values. And actually, what I want is to specify that this axis should show from 0 to 10. So I think there should be a range. There should be a range here. Yeah, yes. Label that? Okay. I'll figure this out offline. I swear this is something that we should be able to figure out. And yeah. On that note, I think we're going to end it for today. I'm just like, on that note where I couldn't figure out how to do it. Let us seriously. Values? No. How do I specify the range of the y-axis? I feel like I'm on the right track. Okay. So I'm going to figure it out before our next stream together. I'm glad that we were able to get it to this point, and I'll also brainstorm a little bit about the scatter plot we talked about. So, and I'm actually going to take some notes on kind of what I see here too. I think this was a fun exercise. Yeah, and I'll definitely take some notes and see how this helps us progress. Lurk Access says, hi, what cool stuff are you planning to do? Not sure yet. Yeah, and Gilliam says, sleeping on it is my go-to. Yeah, I'm gonna go sleep on it. And the thing is that my workshop with Front End Masters is next Tuesday and Wednesday, so I won't be able to have a stream next Wednesday. And I'm on the fence about whether I want to kind of take this Friday off so that I can finish my notebooks, so that I can concentrate on the workshop materials. So I think I'm gonna base that off of how I feel about my progress tonight and tomorrow, and then I'll tweet about whether I'll have a stream on Friday still. I'm still kind of 50-50 right now on a stream on Friday or not, but for sure there's not going to be a stream next Wednesday because there will be the workshop, and then I'll be able to resume the next Friday. Yeah, thank you so much for joining today. I'm happy that we were able to get some progress. I don't know yet if this is the progress I needed, but at least we're moving forward in a little bit, so I am glad about that. Thank you for joining today. And Unhot says, tweet or make a Discord announcement on the streaming. I don't know if you have a Discord, but that's how a lot of streamers do it. I do not have a Discord yet, so I'll send out a tweet. And I will see you next time. Thank you so much for joining today also. Bye-bye.
Wow, hey Shirley, thanks for raiding again. What's up? Hello. We're doing a little whatchamacallit open mic night at Moko's Cafe here. Smelly cat. I'm just singing various things earlier. I did Girl from Ipanema and then carried it along with Love Young Clothes, and then a bunch of people were like, sing Japanese! And I'm just trying to find something in Japanese. But I want to like do like quiet songs today. So, not anything, try not to go super hard on anything, you know? 悲しいことがあると開く日の手な漢字読めない卒業写真のあの人は優しい目をしてる街で見かけたとき何も言えなかった卒業写真の面影がそのまま